Okay, so today we're really diving deep. We're really trying to unpack all the challenges veterans face, when they're transitioning back to civilian life.
Yeah.
And it's really more complicated than just,
Look,
swapping
yeah,
the uniform for like a suit and tie.
definitely not that easy.
Yeah, it
That's a huge adjustment.
really is.
Going from such a structured, purpose-driven environment like the military back to, you know, quote unquote normal life,
Right.
it can be really jarring for a lot of people.
Yeah, talking about things like higher unemployment
Right.
among veterans.
Yeah. And then you layer on top of that, the mental and emotional stuff that many veterans are dealing with, and it complicates the whole picture even more.
Because it's not like you can just turn that off.
Exactly.
And 30% of post 9/11 veterans have been diagnosed with a mental health condition. That's a huge number.
It's huge, and it really highlights, like you were saying, these
Yeah.
invisible wounds, PTSD,
Mhm.
depression, anxiety, all these things, they don't just vanish overnight,
Right, it takes time. It
Right,
takes
right.
work, and
and it affects everything.
and this really impacts a veteran's ability to not just find a job,
Yeah.
but also rebuild their entire life.
That's exactly it. It's not just about a paycheck. It's about, reintegration into a whole new world.
Absolutely.
And it should be a wake-up call
Yeah.
that we need to be doing more
Yeah.
to understand and support these individuals.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, and it makes you wonder, like, what can we do?
Right. What can we do to change this?
What can we do to change this? And thankfully, we've got another source for this deep dive that kind of explores a potential solution.
It's a personality profiling system, right?
Yeah. And what's interesting about it is this idea that
Yeah.
if veterans or anybody really
Yeah.
can understand themselves better,
Mhm.
their strengths, motivations, their values, they might actually be better equipped to navigate all of this.
Absolutely. It's all about providing a framework for that self-discovery.
Right. And it's not just about like, here's a list of jobs, go find one. It's like, here's a roadmap
Exactly.
to figure out what kind of life you actually want to be building.
Yeah, I like that. It's about empowerment, taking control of your own narrative.
Exactly.
And what I find really interesting about the Team Me approach is that it's almost like they assign hard numbers to soft issues. It's a very unique way of looking at it.
And it's quick too, right?
Yeah. Supposedly they can analyze your personality in like 90 seconds.
90 seconds. Hold on. We need to unpack this a little bit.
Okay, let's do it.
How does this work?
Yeah.
So the article mentions like personality archetypes.
Right?
Does that mean you're like dressing up like a knight or a wizard or something?
No, not quite, although that would be pretty entertaining.
Right.
But no, so there are these 6 core archetypes in the Team Me model. You've got the sovereign, the warrior, the sage, the mystic, the lover, and the jester.
Okay.
And these represent different facets of our personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that we all embody aspects of each, just to varying degrees.
So it's not like putting people in boxes
No.
and saying you are this type. It's more nuanced?
Exactly. It's about understanding the unique blend,
Right.
The unique blend of qualities that make us who we are.
Okay.
It's more like, think of it as a personality mosaic,
Okay.
Each archetype is like a tile, and Team Me just helps you see the bigger picture.
Okay. Now that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But how does knowing your own personal mosaic actually help a veteran who's, let's say,
Right.
struggling to find a job or feels lost in the civilian world?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. So imagine for a second you're a veteran. Imagine if you had a way to understand, like, really what makes you tick,
Okay.
what your core values are, what kind of work environment really plays to your strengths. That's the kind of insight Team Me can give you.
So it's like, instead of just blindly sending out resumes, you could be like, hey, this is the kind of work that I would actually be passionate about.
Exactly. It's all about finding that alignment, your skills and your passions, your values and your career choices.
I like it.
Team Me can help veterans identify those paths.
Okay, so how does it do that, though? Does it have like this big database of jobs
Yeah.
that like match up with each archetype, or?
What it does is it highlights the types of roles and environments where you're more likely to like really shine.
Okay.
So for example, let's say someone's got a strong warrior archetype.
Okay.
They're probably going to do really well in a fast-paced, challenging environment
Yeah.
where they can take charge, make decisions,
Right.
be in the driver's seat.
Okay, that totally tracks. But what about someone with like a strong lover archetype?
Right.
What would be a good fit for them?
So someone with that strong lover archetype, they'd probably be drawn to roles that involve things like collaboration, building relationships, making a positive impact.
Yeah.
They need to feel that sense of connection.
It's not even just about finding a job.
Right.
It's about finding, like, their people again.
Your tribe.
Yeah, their tribe, exactly. Like, they're leaving this super tight-knit community when they leave the military.
Yeah.
And that can be really hard to replicate
It can be so hard.
in civilian life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And teamy can also be used to understand, like, team dynamics.
Yes.
Not just, like, individual personalities.
Not just individual, yeah.
So that's interesting.
It is, yeah.
You mean, like, you could figure out how different personality types work best together?
Exactly. So the article uses this phrase, codifying character numerically. Basically, they found specific language patterns associated with each archetype.
Wait, so, like, a warrior type uses different words and phrases?
Yes.
Than, like, a lover type?
Exactly. It's about understanding what's driving those different communication styles.
Okay.
So imagine you've got a team, veterans and civilians, working together. If they understand each other's communication patterns, they can collaborate better, avoid misunderstandings, build stronger relationships.
It's like having a cheat sheet for human interaction, which who wouldn't want that?
Seriously.
But I can especially see how that would be helpful for veterans
Oh, absolutely.
working in places where it's just different
Totally.
from what they were used to in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like learning a whole new language. Now you've got this guide to help you understand the rules.
Yeah.
And that can make all the difference, in building that trust, fostering connection,
Yeah.
creating a more supportive environment for these veterans.
It's finding the right career or even just, like, navigating the social landscape of a new workplace. It really is all about feeling like you belong.
You're so right. And I think that's where Team Me and the self-awareness that it promotes can be so powerful, because when you truly understand yourself, your strengths, your values, it's so much easier to connect with others who share those same things.
It's like you're speaking the same language, even if you haven't walked in each other's shoes.
Exactly. That shared understanding can be so powerful, and it can really help bridge that gap between military and civilian life.
So it's like, if you're a veteran and you're feeling lost, just kind of adrift in civilian life, maybe knowing those core values can help you figure out, like, what's next.
Exactly. It's like finding your why after the military. What gets you up in the morning? What drives you?
It makes you think about how we as a society support our veterans too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, if self-awareness is really this powerful, maybe it needs to be, like, a bigger part of the conversation.
Oh, I think so.
When we talk about veterans transitioning back to civilian life,
Yeah.
like, instead of just focusing on job training or healthcare, which are obviously important.
Of course, essential.
Yeah, but maybe we need to be putting more resources towards things that help veterans understand themselves better.
Absolutely. It's about supporting the whole person, the person behind the uniform.
Yes, exactly. And that's something, honestly, we could all be more mindful of,
I agree.
whether we've served in the military or not.
Absolutely. It's a human thing, not just a veteran thing.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive here, what's your big takeaway? What's the, like, one thing you really hope people listening will walk away thinking about?
For me, it's really about the power of self-awareness, and not just as a way to figure out, like, practical stuff, but as a way to be more resilient, to find your purpose, to connect with others. And I think that's something we should all be striving for.
Really well said. Really well said.
Thank you.
And to any veterans who are listening out there, I just want to say, thank you for your service, and please know that your sacrifice really matters.
It does.
And never give up on finding your place in this world. You got this.
Hear, hear.
This has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. And until next time, keep exploring.